Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Liz and Kayla. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Welcome. It is episode number 75. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yes.
We look good for 75.
Sure
I mean,
right?
we do.
I definitely have a few more gray hairs than when we started this, but that's besides the point. Hope all of you are out there enjoying the show and have enjoyed 74 episodes before this. Maybe you're watching us on Xfinity platforms or hopefully at any time, anywhere, all at once on the What to Watch channel on Zumo. First off, I will predict the winners of this weekend's Academy Awards. Kayla will give us a tour of the Women's History Month collection. Liz will tell us all about this week's History Vault free preview. We will fall in love with the most bizarre dating shows on television. And as always, we'll help you organize your TV watch list for the week ahead. So let's kick things off and get things started with a walk down the red carpet in this week's edition of Impressed and Obsessed. The 95th Annual Academy Awards air live from Hollywood this Sunday night, March 12th. Among this year's most nominated movies are Everything Everywhere All at Once, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. And today I thought we could take a look at the Oscars' top 3 categories and make some pretty bold predictions on this year's big winners. How's that sound?
Let's
do it.
Good, because you have no choice. This is the segment.
He's got a captive audience.
I'm leaving the chat now.
Right. So first up is the Best Actress category. The nominees, I'm going to give you all the nominees. They are Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for Some Reason for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And for me, this is a no-brainer. The Oscar should absolutely go to Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Aside from the fact that she's the very first Asian woman to ever be nominated in the Best Actress category, she should win simply because she gives an incredible performance in that film. And it's a film that is best described as an exhilarating kick to the face. At least that's what I think. And Michelle is a huge part of why it works. I mean, she is a large part of why this movie works. She's already won around a dozen Best Actress awards for this role, including a Golden Globe. So it looks very promising. I'll wait until I reveal the next one and then we can chat about it. Because I think if you look at the awards that Michelle did not win this year, there is one name that continues to knock her off over and over again, and that is Cate Blanchett, who was nominated for her performance in Tar. Cate won both the BAFTA and the Critics' Choice Award over Michelle. She also won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in the Drama category, while Michelle won in the Comedy or Musical category. So I think if anyone stands a chance of dethroning Michelle, it's Cate. And I think at the end of the day, it's a toss-up. I think Michelle should win. I think Cate might take it because she is certainly an Academy favorite, but Michelle's got the better story, and it was a great performance. So I turn to both of you. Do you have any strong feelings either way?
I do love Cate. I loved Ocean's 8. I loved her in Thor Ragnarok. She freaking kills it every time. But I think it should go to Michelle, especially, she's not like new, but she's new to this category in the first. So I think that'd be huge for Asian American to win that.
And look at her in that. Look how fierce she is in that. I don't know what Cate's doing. She's falling asleep up on stage there. But.
Right. Like, can we just make a vote on the images alone?
Based on the photos alone, It goes to Michelle.
Right. Like, don't show the Academy the picture, like the movie. Just show them pictures, like stills, and see who would they vote for. Come on, seriously.
Well, let's see what stills we have awaiting us in the Best Actor category. The nominees are Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nighy for Living. Who should win? He's right here. This would be the easiest trophy I would ever hand out. The Oscar should go to Colin Farrell for his performance in Banshees. The night I saw this movie, I told everyone, I know that this is the best performance of Colin Farrell's career, unmatched. I don't think a single character made me laugh and also broke my heart this year. Colin has already won about 20 awards for this performance so far this award season. But there is one particular actor who makes me a little nervous in this category, and that is Austin Butler, who I think may probably win for his performance in Elvis. Look, Austin has a lot going for him in this category and with this movie. He transformed himself to play one of the most iconic figures in the history of the world in a big budget movie directed by Baz Luhrmann. He transformed himself so much that he literally cannot stop talking like Elvis. He altered his DNA for this movie role.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, Irish actor Colin Farrell is playing an Irish man in this movie.
What a
That's why he should win.
It's a lot to go up against. Austin has not won nearly as many awards this season as Colin has, but he did claim the BAFTA over Colin and won the Golden Globe in the drama category. Again, I think it's a toss-up, but I have a hunch I may be disappointed on Sunday, and as an Eagles fan, I'm used to that.
Oh, same. I feel that.
Have either of you seen either of these movies? Do you have any?
No, I haven't, but I do love Colin, and everything that's surrounding the Elvis movie right now and Austin. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a little not fair. And I mean, it's not his fault. Obviously, the timing of all the things that, are surrounding it, but it just, I really do love Colin. I don't need to see him in this role to know that he was amazing and that he would have my vote for sure.
I mean, look at this still. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at the passion.
Let's go back to the stills, right?
Let's go back to the still.
For sure, yeah. I agree.
So it's interesting. Sorry, I was looking down for a second because I just decided and had meant to do this before the show to look up when Oscar voting closed for this. Because as you said, obviously there was a tragic that Lisa Marie Presley passed just a few weeks ago. And obviously that adds a little sentimentality to this award, especially since Austin's been talking about her when he wins. Voting actually closes March 12th, which is like the day before the Oscars, I think.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah.
So we think this might be a sympathy vote.
It could be. Yeah. Brad is also seeing March 12th. So I think that adds a new wrinkle into this for Colin, but also benefits, unfortunately, Austin. But it doesn't change the fact that Austin did give a great performance. But in a award season, every little bit counts. So
true.
We'll see. Let's turn our attention to Best Picture. This year's nominees, there are a ton of them. It is All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun, Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. It will come as no surprise to you that I absolutely think the award should go to The Banshees of Inisherin. It was hands down my favorite movie of the year, and if you're not familiar with the plot, it follows two lifelong friends played by Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson who find themselves at a crossroads when one of them simply decides, I don't want to be your friend anymore, and just bails on him, and how he handles that, and it gets very contentious. It's just so good. And as I mentioned earlier, I was surprised by how funny the movie is. I legitimately laughed out loud in the theater, but this is also one that just tears your heart right out of your chest at times. And I say to people all the time, you got to watch this. It's so good. And then they text me and they're like, this is so depressing. Like, why did you do this to me? But it's not. It's also very funny. It's a dark comedy.
Okay.
But it's just no easy feat if you find the humor and the drama in it to laugh and cry and have a movie do that so successfully. But there is one other movie that has done both successfully this year, and I think that is the film that will win the best Oscar or best picture Oscar, and that is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again, if you're not familiar, it follows a Chinese American immigrant played by Michelle Yeoh, who joins forces with parallel universe versions of herself to prevent the destruction of the multiverse. The movie co-stars Ke Huy Quan, who will absolutely win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, hands down, as well as Jamie Lee Curtis. It is the kind of movie I honestly think you will hate or you will love. There's no in between. It's not for everyone. It's super weird at times. There are hot dog fingers. It is so odd. But it is an absolutely stunning achievement in terms of special effects and action and the performances of both Michelle and Ke. The Best Picture winner always feels like kind of a crapshoot. For example, All Quiet on the Western Front won the BAFTA. The Fabelmans won the Golden Globe for Best Drama. Banshees won the Golden Globe for Best Comedy. And Everything Everywhere won the Critics' Choice Award for Best Picture. So where does that really leave us for the Oscar?
All over the place.
Right.
It could go anywhere.
It leaves us everywhere and all at once.
Yes. It's everything and it's everywhere.
All at once.
I don't know if you have opinions on either, or maybe you have an opinion for a third film that should have been or could win.
Yeah, I think that I attempted to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once more than once with my family. And, no surprise, my kids were into it and they loved it. And I'm sitting there like I was so uncomfortable. Like, why don't I get this? Like, why don't I love it like everybody else loves it here? Like, I was starting to wonder about myself. Like, am I missing something? It just really is not my type of movie, but I can appreciate the acting. I appreciated it was a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the title is amazing for it because it really
perfect.
is everything, everywhere, all at one time.
I think that the hate it or like it or love it or hate it, the multiverse and the concept of the multiverse and entertainment is here to stay. I think certainly the Avengers movies and the Marvel universe made it popular. Rick and Morty also has made the concept very popular. Gaming has done it for a while as well. And now it's just bled into this mainstream culture, especially in a movie like this. And it is definitely a Gen Z thing, I think, honestly. Love the idea of the multiverse. And if that's just not for you, it just isn't for you.
That's all right. That's all right. You can you can watch the Banshees.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you are interested in watching any of these, I'm going to do a little business. Elvis and the Banshees of Inisherin are available to watch on HBO Max. Everything Everywhere All at Once is available to watch with Showtime. And Tar is available to watch with Peacock. The 95th Annual Academy Awards, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, air this Sunday, March 12th on ABC. Red carpet, all the glitz, all the glamour. You can check out more of this year's nominated films as well as Oscar-winning films from past years simply by saying Oscars into your voice remote. And there it is. Enjoy. Have fun with it. Next up, we celebrate Women's History Month in our featured collection. March is Women's History Month, and the Xfinity editors have created a brand new collection showcasing female stories, casts, and creators across TV, film, and music. And our very own Black Experience editor, Kayla, is going to tell us more about it. Kayla, take it away.
Oh, yeah. It's Women's History Month, y'all. And we are giving you the best of the best of the best. Okay. Our editors came up with an ultimate watch list for anybody who is wanting to dive into all things women's history, starting with our favorite female directed films, because we know we do our thing behind the camera. Okay. So make sure you check those out. Also TV shows with strong female leads, that are free on your services. I said free, yes. Kung Fu featured first there, which is a fave. Our favorite female stories. So all those stories ranging from like true stories and even those that are fictional to come in here and give you the best of the best of the best women in music, which Kwame put together. So, you know, he has all of the top hits from women everywhere. And also stories of Latinas who've made an impact and phenomenal Black women in history. So those are all the multicultural collections there at the bottom, and also more TV and movies and music, Latino, Black experience, everything, everywhere, all at once this month. Okay, all you have to do is say Women's History Month into your X1 voice remote. And if I were to choose a title, and it was so hard to choose, but if I were to choose like a favorite title, I would choose The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, only because this is such a bizarre story. And I have never heard of this woman until, you know, I read the biography and then I watched the movie when it came out, starring Oprah. But it is about a poor tobacco farmer, Henrietta Lacks, who she had cancer, and her cancer cells were taken from her without her permission. So she didn't voluntarily give them over. They were taken and used in the most important medical research ever. She has the first immortalized human cell line. So her cells do not die. They're still not dead. They keep reproducing themselves. And it's just it's the craziest story. So her cells were used to create the HeLa cell line, which is still used largely by scientists today. If you were to ask any scientist, they would know what the HeLa cell line is. And they were used to develop, you know, the polio vaccine, cloning, gene mapping, in vitro fertilization, and so much more. And she was never compensated or recognized for the use of her cells that are still in use till this day. So it's wild.
That is wild.
It's crazy. I'm like, this story, I think.
How do we not all know that story? Like, I don't know about you, David. I won't speak for you, but like, I have never even heard this story. And now, like, obviously this is something that I'm going to watch, but yeah. I am floored.
It's crazy. Never heard of this. This is the kind of stuff I would have preferred learning about in history class instead of.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
You know, the stuff that we learn in history class.
Yes, it's so insane. It's a great story. The reporter who did the book, she was talking about all the stories she's heard of people coming to her like, oh, my mom had cancer, but she was able to receive this chemo, which the HeLa science helped develop, and all. So she's cancer free. It's insane. I don't think there's anybody who hasn't benefited from the research that has come from her cells, and that are still coming from her cells to this day, since the 50s. Wow. So,
wow,
crazy.
Wow,
that's a great one. This is like the second week in a row that we talked about Oprah. We talked about it just a couple weeks ago on the show.
Yeah, I mean,
Oprah having a moment here.
She's killing it. She's killing it. Liz, I'm curious to know, what is your favorite movie from this collection?
All right, so it is a movie that I just keep going back to over and over again, and it's Frida. And if everyone remembered the screenshot that you just shared, it was one of the first movie poster arts that you saw on there. I absolutely love Salma Hayek in this movie, and Alfredo Molina, who plays her husband Diego Rivera. If you don't know this story, like. Just the same way with Henrietta, right? I mean, hers is from a scientific perspective. Like, this will also like floor you if you don't know this story. I mean, this was toxic relationship before toxic relationship was even, you know, a thing. Frida and Diego Rivera met after Frida had an accident, which she was bedridden for a very long time, and her dad gave her a canvas and was like, you know, here, find something to do. And so she started to paint, and she approached a very famous muralist in Mexico who was 20 years older than her and married. to take a look at, her art and give his opinion. And so they start a very, interesting affair. They do end up eventually married, and divorced, and then married again, with lots of affairs in between on both parts. Frida is one of the original baddies. And if you notice, obviously Salma Hayek is beautiful and portrays Frida in a way that I don't know is necessarily true to how Frida actually looked. Frida was more androgynous a little. So she was both feminine, both masculine. She wore her unibrow. She wore a mustache on purpose. It was part of her personality. She also had affairs with men and with women. And at one point, they both she and Diego had an affair with the same woman, not at the same time, but during the same time period. And so it's an interesting story about their relationship and Mexico during that time. So definitely a must watch if you haven't already watched. And if you don't know the story, obviously there's tons of amazing art and just wonderful story about a really toxic relationship. And I don't know why I love it so much, but I really do. Frida she's such a baddie, and she talks about just being an independent woman and obviously never needing someone to just make her whole. So she's definitely great, and I love the show. Have either of you watched this movie?
I have. I watched it back when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though Salma Hayek was obviously working before that, like this was the movie that put her on the map and
Sure.
had her put her in another echelon of actors. Yeah, it's a fascinating story, and it's fascinating to just learn so much, like so many intimate details about an artist just outside of their art, and helps you understand where their art comes from then.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, it's excellent. I also really kind of need a t-shirt with her face on it that says original baddie on it. Now that you said that, like,
Right?
someone get me the original baddie Frida Kahlo t-shirt. I need that.
I do have a t-shirt with Frida Kahlo's face on it, and I should have worn it, but
you should have worn it.
I totally flaked on that one, guys. We'll get some made.
We should.
All right, David, what's your pick?
I am so happy I get to talk about this movie. I mean, I think it's little known actually, but should be seen by the masses. It is one of my favorite films of the last several years, hands down. It's the 2016 drama Certain Women. It was written and directed by Kelly Reichardt, based on 3 short stories by Miley Malloy. So that is a all-female cast, written by a woman, based on a short stories by a woman, written and directed. The film follows the lives of 3 strong-willed women played by Laura Dern, Kristen Stewart, and Michelle Williams as they encounter challenges with careers, relationships, and home renovation in small-town Montana. And although the lives of these 3 women intersect, their stories are told separately and often with very powerful effect. I think I've said this before on What to Watch Live, but I'm absolutely fascinated by modern American stories, particularly those that are set in the Midwest, that showcase this slice of, geez, I can't even talk. I'm so excited. It showcases a slice of life that feels so foreign to me. Like, it happens in this country, people are living these certain ways, and you just it's hard to believe. And that's why I find myself absolutely enthralled by movies like American Honey, The Florida Project, Nomadland, because it's amazing to see how some people live in this country, and we don't even realize it. So Certain Women currently has a 92% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It was nominated for more than 30 awards when it was released, and more than a third of those nominations were for supporting actress Lily Gladstone, who is absolutely phenomenal in the film. She's the 4th woman towards the bottom of that poster. And one more note, the director of this film, Kelly Reichardt, would go on to co-write and direct the movie First Cow, which was nominated for more than 40 awards in 2019. And that is also an absolutely gorgeous movie and one of my favorites. So, as we sort of said at the top, go support women filmmakers. Go watch their stories, watch their work, so we get more directors nominated at the Oscars and the Golden Globes, and we keep getting to tell diverse stories across the board. So start anywhere, but put Certain Women and First Cow on your list along with Frida and Henrietta Lacks, because how can you go wrong? This is such a great collection. There's so many good movies in there. And I don't even think you realize most times that, especially in the films that were directed by women, that women directed it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, this is exciting. So go out and watch anything and everything.
Do it all at once.
All at once. Get you 200 TVs and put them all on. Okay.
So you can check out the Women's History Month collection, as Kayla said, as well as the movies we just talked about, just by saying Women's History Month into your voice remote. Next up, Liz is going to tell us about the TV shows and movies you can enjoy for free this week in a segment called Free. Xfinity's Free This Week program continues with a free preview of History Vault, which offers hundreds of classic History Channel series, documentaries, and specials, including some titles to help you, again, celebrate Women's History Month. And Liz is going to tell us more about it. Take it away, Liz.
Thanks, David. So absolutely. So what David said, right? So earlier this year, we launched a really great new program called Free This Week. And if you haven't heard about it, you're going to say Free This Week into your remote, but hopefully you have and have been taking advantage, because here is where we offer up free content from some of our most popular network partners, and have content for you, like movies that you absolutely love and maybe haven't seen in a while, movies and TV shows that you hear everybody talking about and need to make sure that you watch, or maybe some content that you didn't know you needed and can learn something from. So this week, March 6th through March 12th, we have History Vault content. And so there are some really great titles that I want to share with you that also celebrate Women's History Month, if you were interested, which you are, because we just talked about it. And you absolutely should want to see some of the wonderful stories that History Vault has around Women's History Month. So we'll start off with some like Susan B. Anthony, Rebel for the Cause, Eleanor Roosevelt, A Restless Spirit, Pocahontas, Ambassador to the New World, Women Combat Pilots, The Right Stuff, and America, The Story of Us. So if you're not familiar with History Vault, make sure you say Free This Week into your remote so you can see all the wonderful content that they have available that talks about the history that has made our world today. So go ahead and check them out. And when you say Free This Week in that destination, you will also see what is coming up. So we have something free this week, every week. Make sure you check it out and start planning. Thanks. That's it about History Vault. So we're all excited about History Vault.
You did all the heavy lifting there. America, The Story of Us is great. It's literally just like the history of the United States through like the Industrial Revolution, through the computer age, and before that. But they break it up into eras. Well, yeah. There's a lot of stuff in History Vault. Hence the vault.
There truly is.
Right.
And it is a vault. It's a vault of history. And it's all a bunch of stuff that it's not, boring. It's not stuff that it's done in such a way that it makes it really entertaining and exciting for you to watch. Some of these stories that we think we know, and some stories that we hadn't heard of. So I will be on watching History Vault this week.
Perfect. Well, you already gave the voice command free this week. Check it out. Next up, we're very excited about this one. We're looking for love in all the wrong places in the latest edition of Ultimate Deep Dive. This Wednesday, March 8th, Fox debuts the brand new dating series Farmer Wants a Wife, which follows 4 farmers as they harvest a crop of single women in search of their one true love. This series, which is hosted by singer Jennifer Nettles, is based on the Australian series of the same name, which is aired for an unbelievable 12 seasons in Australia. Farmer Wants a Wife is hardly the most unusual dating show in TV history. In fact, it's not even the most unusual dating show to air on Fox, which previously presented serialized fiascos like More to Love, Married by America, Playing It Straight, The Littlest Groom, Temptation Island, Mr. Personality, Joe Millionaire, and Who Wants to Marry a Multi-Millionaire, which somehow made the names Rick Rockwell and Darva Conger household names for 2 weeks. The dude wasn't even a multi-millionaire. So today, Kayla, Liz, and I have decided to take a deep dive into some of our favorite unusual dating shows. Here we go. I'm going to go first. The dating show I was legitimately obsessed with was the VH1 series Dating Naked, which ran for 3 incredible seasons and is now available to watch in full with Paramount Plus. Let's take a look at a clip.
Right away when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, what outfit am I gonna take off today? I believe that I'm gonna find the man of my dreams on this beautiful island.
Wow, you are really hot.
Well, thank you.
I won't have a cell phone. I won't have emails. What the hell am I doing? Oh!
Now what?
I don't know. What do we do from here?
Why not? Boom!
How you doing?
Hi. Dun, 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 dun.
Go.
I am making connections with multiple men.
Do you feel like you're gonna find love here?
Yeah.
You're a geezer pleaser, huh?
What the hell did I get myself into?
So dumb.
What?
It's so dumb. So the whole philosophy of Dating Naked, as it was explained on the show, was sort of similar to Love is Blind in a way. By putting it all out there, literally, you were removing the mystery, somehow evening the playing field and supposedly eliminating the physical aspects of dating so that you can focus solely on a personal, intellectual, emotional connection. And even as I say that, it's ridiculous. They were just naked.
What? Like, and last thing I'm thinking of is your intellect, right? Like, I'm distracted the whole time.
But I guess they think, oh, if you're not sitting there during the date, like thinking about what's under their clothes, you've already gotten that out of the way. You could just make that personal connection.
What?
No,
that's
it's not.
happening.
It's not true. For me, it was just the fun of watching 2 naked people go on dates.
Wow.
And what was even funnier is that the producers always had them going on dates that would be absolute nightmares if you were naked, like rock climbing, or as we saw, yoga or beach volleyball. Like,
So unsafe.
Terrible.
Too much movement.
Safe.
Like,
For
there's an
all
old
of the
Seinfeld. There's a Seinfeld episode where they talk about good naked and bad naked. Like when they're opening up a pickle jar naked. That's bad naked because you're engaging all these unseen muscles. Anyway, one of the craziest facts I love about Dating Naked, this is absolutely true, is that the show once aired 1 second of complete unblurred nudity from a very unfortunate angle due to an editing error. They missed it. They just didn't blur it. And the contestant sued over the mistake. I watched that episode live when it aired on VH1 and nearly fell out of my seat. I was like, did I just see what I thought I saw?
Wow.
It was
unreal. So they really were naked. Like they weren't like pretending with small little G-strings or no. Wow.
It's like, hey, I'm okay with being naked like in front of all this production, but hey, don't put it on the TV.
No, it was all up there.
That's crazy.
I'm sure, well, they've certainly blurred it out now if you watch on Paramount Plus, but nevertheless, it was stupid good fun and will surely fill that reality TV void in your life until Love Island returns. because they don't get naked on that, at least not anymore. Since it moved to the US.
Dating naked or staying single? Like, I'm totally staying single, guys. I don't know.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, Kayla, I'm sure there's less nudity in the dating show that you are watching. Tell us about your unusual dating show.
Yes, there's a ton of less nudity in mine. Mine is Love for the Ages, which is a new show on Peacock about married couples who are dating singles, which is just insane. Like, hey, I'm married. You know what we should do? We should go find some sexy singles to hang out with. Let's take a look.
Guys, give me a ring.
Pick it up, pick it up.
Your marriage perhaps doesn't have maybe that fire that it used to have, that fuego, that pasión, you know? Guys ready to have some fun? Yes! Well, here they come.
This experience, I'm hoping, will give a spark back to my husband.
Yo siento que Richard no me protege y siento que esa es mi carencia. ¿Sabes qué? Este reality lo valió todo.
I think living with these guys is going to be a fun experience.
Something will most likely happen. Just a matter of time.
How do you think your wife would feel about the date?
Oh my God.
She's 23.
¿Por qué te dice un beso con eso?
Porque me di un beso y ya.
It is now your moment of truth. Do you in fact have a love for the ages, or will you decide to walk away?
It's crazy.
Yikes.
Guys. And okay, I've heard of the show, did not watch it. I literally was like, let me watch it because it sounds crazy. Binged it in like 3 days. Like, guys, it's insane. And I think you only go on here if you just want your marriage to fall apart. Because first of all, it's like the first thing is it is half in English and half in Spanish. So that makes it like that's awesome too. I love that component. But it's like the singles they're dating, they're much younger, as you see. So it's like Love for the Ages, hence like the age gap. So they're all like 20 somethings, which makes it insane because they're so like the maturity level is lower, like a lot lower than like the people they're dating. And also you see like the single women like, oh, I want him to pick me. Like, why do you pick you to go out on the date? And I'm like, guys, he's married. He's not even single.
Wow.
Why are you guys fighting over this? And then like the husbands are like, they feel weird because they don't want to make a move that's, you know, they're cheating on their wife, and some of the wives acting wilding out over at their house with the single guys. And it's just, I'm not computing. I'm not seeing how this is like helping any kind of situation. But it's like, are they going to leave their husbands or wives? I doubt it. These people have been married for like 15 years, 20 something years. And I don't know. I don't know. Like homegirl says she wanted a spark with her husband. I guess you maybe. I don't know what kind of spark you're going to get. Like the flame might go out. I don't know.
Listen, we just gonna live sparkless, right? Because there's no way. The minute my husband says we're coming on a show like this, like there's no coming on the show. Like we're done. Like that's a wrap.
Done.
Liz, I was going to say the exact same thing. As someone who has watched many seasons of the show Temptation Island, too many, like once you've made the decision to go on the show, it's done. You've already too far gone. Like, that was the mistake. Because the same thing on there, like they go on Temptation Island, and the idea is to tempt themselves to like cheat and discover if they want to stay with the person that they're with. If you have to do that, it's why? No, it's solely to just like break up the relationship and
let's take up a hobby. Let's do something, guys. Like
let's go take their rings off.
Painting with a twist or something, like for real.
Yes.
Not a show, not a dating show.
Like if you want to do, if you want to like you want to be in a throuple or whatever, like more power to you. All consenting adults, like good for you. But when you are putting it on television, like, I don't know. I think there's more to it. You're not really just testing your You are.
Right. You are, but you're not. It's like the husbands took their ring off, and then the host went back like, yo, your husbands took their rings off. And the wives are like, oh my God. I'm like, guys, you signed up for this.
Right.
Like,
That's the
what
show.
was the problem here. It's the show. Like you knew.
I can't believe you would take your ring off.
And one of the wives whose idea it was crying the most, and I was like, "Ma'am, why'd you bring your husband on this show? This is insane. It's crazy. It's dramatic too. Lots of drama.
This segment is even better than I thought it was going to be.
I love it.
This is so great. Liz, please bring us home with your favorite.
Yes. And I mean, we all have to agree that it takes a special person to want to come on to television, national television, international television at this point, and date in any which form that we're doing this. And so my favorite, which I will admit that I have watched all of the seasons and I'm looking forward to season 4, is Love is Blind on Netflix.
It's scary, but I'm here because I'm looking for a husband.
It's been one of the hardest things dating as an adult. Am I really gonna meet my wife in the grocery store?
I've done a lot of this life alone, and I just don't want to do it alone anymore.
Pods are open!
I'm very confident in who I am, and I deserve someone who understands that.
I grew up without heat and AC.
I definitely don't want my quality of living to suffer.
This is crazy that I felt comfortable enough saying that story. I can't believe I just did.
You're 25? Are you serious?
How are you here? How did I meet you in here?
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?
What the
We're engaged!
I haven't connected the person in the pod with the person I'm looking at.
There are so many unanswered questions.
You're lying. You're trying to be somebody else and you're not.
He loves, but he runs. He gets scared.
Do you think I should have any reservations?
Are you kidding me? We should just swap fiancés.
I'm having feelings for multiple women right now.
She's not the girl we see you with.
The person that I love doesn't love me.
Tell me how to stay, because I'm out.
Invested. I cannot wait for season 4. And I mean, I want to really believe that we could find a connection outside of just physical attributes, right? And how one another looks. But we have to, at least I would have to admit, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but you could talk to somebody all the time and feel a really great connection, but not be physically attracted to that person. And there is something to be said about this being attracted to someone physically. And so if you've not seen the show and what you saw in this clip, they date numerous people from a pod, from a room, and they don't ever get to see one another. And the only way that they can is they actually propose to one another without ever seeing them. And some of them even say, like, I love you before they even ever see each other. Like, and they finally, those who did propose or agreed to get married all get together and they go on they start to like live together. They see each other and until the big day. And it's just, talk about a lot of drama. It's good TV. Come on, like, let's be real. It's really, really great TV. But I'm in it. I'm so invested and can't wait to see season 4, I believe on March 24th on Netflix. So what do you guys think? Do you like this show?
Guys, it's everything and everywhere. All
at once.
It really is. And I did see season 3 and it's just crazy to me. And I love the honeymoon episodes. I think that's when people really start to like realize like who are they living with? And it's like, wait, like you don't sleep, like what do you sleep with a sound machine or you do this weird quirky stuff that I didn't know. And if it were me, that's what I'd be asking in the pods. I'd be like, how do you put your toilet paper? Is it under, over? Like the stuff that matters, guys. The stuff that matters. Like, do you chew with your mouth open? I need to know these things. So it's just a crazy show. It's great.
Yeah, I love the concept, and I absolutely think that it's like I do think legitimately that being in the pods and getting to know people without seeing them is like kind of genius, and I love that concept. But where it becomes pure cringe for me is telling someone you love them after just dating them for a few times.
Yes!
Proposing to someone and crying from the other side of the wall.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, you could go on this show or like maybe get a therapist to work through some of your issues. Like you could do that instead, maybe.
Yeah, like agreed, right? Like I feel like everyone when they're dating is on their best behavior, and you do pick up, cues on people from just their body language, and not seeing that is a huge red flag for me, because I'm big on, body language and being able to sort of like read a person. So when you're dating, you're on your best behavior, you're saying all the right things, you're saying the things that you think that the other person wants to hear, and then you come out and, okay, let's not even talk about that they don't look like what you were expecting them to look like, but you find out that they're not the type of person that you would even want to date. Like some of them are not kind, and some of them are just not people in that you would have normally chosen in real life. So, but again, I'm going to be here for season 4. So I can't wait.
Oh yeah. And love is not blind. It totally matters. Like, and those reveals are my favorite part, because you can tell really if they're happy or not.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God.
I will
and
say,
then
though,
of course, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love predicting who will or will not be disappointed when those doors open. And I will admit, I am wrong more often than not. I'm like, oh, she's not going to be happy. He's not going to be happy. And then they are. And I'm like, oh, that's so great.
Or so they look like they are.
They're so happy. And then like suddenly like he still sleeps with his blankie from childhood. And you're like, oh, all right. Now, deal breaker.
Exactly. And then if you still need more, there's Life After the Altar, which is also another show that really follows them after they said I do. So yes, I am here for it for sure.
Oh my goodness.
God, I want to do this. I want to do dating shows every episode.
There's enough content out there. We should.
There's enough.
Let's pick 3 more next week.
Right.
All right. Well, check out the shows we just talked about. They're all worth watching. Like, just do it. Like, they're so good.
You won't be mad.
You won't be. No. Just say what to watch into your voice remote to see everything we just talked about. And before we head out, as always, we'll help you organize your TV watch list for the week ahead in a segment called Plan Ahead. This week's premieres include lawyers and singers and chefs. Oh my! And Liz is going to tell us all about it. Take it away, Liz.
Let's start off the week with The Voice, season 23, returning on March 6th on NBC. My guess is that you already know this singing competition well, right? Hopefuls come in and sing to a panel of coaches already established in the music industry, who can only hear them but can't see them. Joining the OG coach Blake Shelton and returning coach Kelly Clarkson this year are Chance the Rapper and Niall Horan. With several rounds of battles, team swapping, and singing with the coaches, this season is sure to make some singing dreams come true. Also on March 6th, Season 2 of Perry Mason will finally return to HBO Max. Based on the novels and short stories by Earl Stanley Gardner, the story of Perry Mason, the private investigator turned lawyer, comes to life once again. Unlike earlier versions of Perry Mason, here he's not as righteous and can be described, as we love to do in Philly, as gritty. Season 2 is set in 1933, and you can expect the same attention to detail to the time period, exceptional acting, and complicated legal battles that feel overwhelming. The Challenge World Championship from Paramount Plus is set to premiere on March 8th. This is a global crossover tournament with winners and MVPs from the Challenges USA, the Challenge Australia, the Challenge Argentina, and the Challenge UK. Played in pairs, they'll battle to win, avoid elimination, and compete in an ultimate elimination challenge for a $500,000 prize. Another global reality competition show, and one of my personal favorites, Top Chef, will premiere its 20th season on March 9th on Bravo. This is a cutthroat culinary showdown of 11 different Top Chef versions from around the world. The pressure in this kitchen is like no other, as they put their hearts on a plate to be judged as they compete for the bragging rights of a world all-star title. closing out the week with a British thriller and MGM Plus original series, A Spy Among Friends. This premieres on March 12th. Based on a real-life story, this series retells the story of two friends whose relationship and intelligence operations are put to the test and destroyed when one turns into one of the most notorious Soviet double agents.
Why doesn't NBC make a dating show like The Voice? But
Right.
they're all in their chairs, they're all singles, and then they come out on the stage, and whoever turns their chair first gets to date them.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, like an
call it
elevator
The Face.
pitch.
The
The
Face.
face.
Yeah.
I love
This is
it.
the face. You know. All right. And this week's finales, we say farewell to Natasha Lyonne, the Winchesters, and the killer fungi. And Kayla is here to give us the details. Kayla?
Remember that terrifying show, Supernatural? The one that ran for 15 seasons? Yeah, that one. If you were a fan, I'm sure you've heard of this new prequel series, The Winchesters. This first season follows the epic, untold love story of John and Mary and how they fought to save their love and the entire world. The finale promo teased a mysterious stranger as the gang races against the clock to solve a mystery of their own. If you're into spooky vibes, this one's for you. The Winchesters finale is March 7th on the CW. Those of us who waited 13 years for a sequel to Avatar have gotten nothing on those who have waited more than 40 for a sequel to Mel Brooks' hilarious film, History of the World Part 1, where history is traced through a series of comedic vignettes. Now reformatted as an anthology series, History of the World Part 2 chronicles a more contemporary time period, spanning everything from Noah's Ark to Harriet Tubman to Shakespeare. History of the World Part 2 finales March 9th on Hulu. I used to wish that I could tell whether or not somebody was lying to me, but not anymore. Natasha Lyonne stars as Charlie Cale, who has the astonishing ability to determine when someone is lying, a skill that lands her in crazy, strange, and sometimes deadly situations. This Mystery of the Week series has kept me on my toes and accelerated my heart rate these past few weeks. I need season 2. Stat. Poker Face finales March 9th on Peacock. Since its highly anticipated premiere, The 12th Victim has taken its viewers down a road to one shocking discovery after another. This 4-part docuseries sheds new light on the infamous 1958 Charles Starkweather and Carol Ann Fugate murder spree. The teenage couple was charged and convicted of brutally killing 11 victims at random. This chilling case was one of the first true crime stories to unfold in real time on television. Watch as 14-year-old Carol Fugate fights to maintain her self-proclaimed innocence after a guilty verdict. The 12th Victim finales March 10th on Showtime. Based on the popular video game, The Last of Us is a bold, post-apocalyptic drama that drops us into a world that is 20 years into a global pandemic caused by a mass fungal infection. Ew. Which forces its host to transform into zombie-like creatures. Gross. Did I mention the show is set in 2023? Great. The series follows a smuggler tasked with escorting a teenager across a post-apocalyptic United States. I can't believe I'm saying this about a show that sounds so horrifying, but I'm intrigued. The Last of Us finales March 12th on HBO Max.
And that is it for us and today's show. This was a fun one. 75, still thriving. Thank you to my fellow Xfinity editors, Liz and Kayla, for joining me this week. Shout out to our producers, Brad and Aaron and everyone else behind the scenes for making the show tick. We are off for the next few weeks, but we will return in April with new shows and some new co-hosts joining the crew. We're very excited for that. In the meantime, if you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch. I've done this 74 times and I fumbled on 75. Just say what to watch into your voice remote or tune in here. Tune in here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. What a mess. Or check us out across the country 24/7 on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Zumo. My name is David. Got through it. Thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.